Welcome back, fellow gamers. This is Gamer1745. We're continuing with my invasion and crushing, hopefully, of France. We're going to get right into this. Production turnips do we need? Reduce that a little bit. Reinforcements. Okay, you good. Let's see. We're moving forward. Okay. These guys will head down to there. Group. Sorry. Advancing. As you can see, okay, I've been getting some more requests to use the political map, so they can see what's going on, see what we've taken here. Making abortive attempts on my lines here, which really get them nowhere. But it does tie up their forces and train mine up a little bit better. These guys are moving slowly up. Okay. Now, these guys have been held up for way too long. I hate to see the panzer divisions like that. That was not the best move. I will say that. Letting all those guys get so caught up in that fight there. These guys will be joining the fight von Kluge's forces. Might as well have them support that, reduce that quicker. Well, maybe he'll be useful in taking the city, I don't know. onwards, and we'll get to the outskirts of Paris very quickly there. And Paris was held as an open city, meaning they didn't, in 1940, they didn't fight over it, because, the city is beautiful, and you didn't want to turn it to a ruin, and I think they figured in the long run they were going to win anyways. I don't know if they really thought that, but they just didn't fight over it. As you can see, I end up having a lot of my headquarters out there leading the way. But only when it's a situation where it's not against great forces. It's against, light stuff. Trying to just keep the momentum moving. I'm definitely a believer in the momentum here. Okay, we've got this. This up there. Port Metro Ports units are moving that way. This will free up a tremendous amount of forces. Now that they're crossed. That. Troops from Belgian Congo here probably is what. Indonesia? Colonial militia of some sort, theoretically. Well, they're Belgian, so they're Belgian Congo troops. Oh good, we've stolen some Japanese blueprints here. Divisional HQ to level 6. I want to take a quick look at that. Hope you guys don't mind. So that's that, which is really good because, see, 7 hours right there reduced. Period, but we can continue to research that. It's not that far ahead. And we also have some free research points because we're taking a few more capitals. We'll increase our assault gun tax. Already in use. Okay, as you can see, we're plunging ahead. I'm not going to attack here against the French with just one panzer division. They're going to put up stiffer resistance and all. just be satisfied with displacing so many units on my way there. Forcing them to retreat. Okay, we just had a massive amount of events, so we'll pause it. Got back. Oh, we're down to high from very high popularity. Okay, well, whatever. I'm where Danzig goes bye-bye. Small chance of the battle commander. Reward our heroes, yeah. Yeah, here's another interesting story. HJ, the Hitler Jugend, the Hitler Youth. This is their second official visit that they sent to Japan. The first one was before the war. This one, they weren't like young kids. These were sort of like the upper teenage leader types in this group. Like we're like the ones that were being sent to Britain were, in the lower teens. They had to travel all the way across the Soviet Union for days by train. So they had to travel from Germany, because Soviet Union, highly controlled state, but now is temporarily an ally of Germany. So they had to travel by train across the Trans-Siberian Railway, which comes across here, and in through here, and then into Japan. And then they had to go all the way back. Because of the war, there was no shipping to take, which that would have been the most common way in those days. And of course, aircraft were becoming more and more useful, but they didn't really have an air bridge use, so they went via train. And so you get to shoot the Japanese samurai bows, and that was the sort of commemorative badge the Japanese made for the event and their round. So it was quite popular. The Japanese really one thing that surprised them, I forget which trip that they noted this, whether the first or the second one, major trip of these that they sent over, was that the Germans didn't wear glasses. And not the Germans didn't wear glasses, but the ones they sent didn't wear glasses, because the Germans were so into this elite super race kind of thing, that they didn't want to have their representatives to be people that need to wear glasses. Where in Asia, it wasn't like a stigma or whatever that you had bad eyesight, that you needed to have corrected vision. It was more, I guess, a sign of learning that you could read and such, that your job wasn't just being a farmer or something. And so if you had bad eyes, you got glasses to correct it. So it was just an interesting cultural difference between that the Japanese sort of noted about their German visitors. Utiliport, I hope I'm not butchering that so much. My few Swiss friends. This, I guess, and I don't know all the details of it, it was sort of the founding myth and place of Switzerland, or Helvetica, or however they would want to establish it. And especially, I think, in the 19th century, it's a 19th century painting there, brought up the mythologizing of that. Guzland? Gulson? General Gulson. Switzerland didn't have nearly the hierarchy that most nations did. It was a sort of regional military, if you will. But he was the commanding general at the time there. And Switzerland, of course, is culturally different in that it has French, lots of German speakers, some Italian speakers, and some of the Romansh speakers. And there was a lot of political diversity going on there, right, left, center. And so it was sort of somewhat of a fractured nation. And he was really worried that Switzerland was going to be fractured and pulled apart. So he brought the photo there of this event. He brought literally like all of, I don't know, majors or colonels or whatever, and about all of them there, basically. I mean, really about 80-90% of them, for this sort of patriotic cheerleading type halftime coach speech. Remember your Swiss and blah 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 blah. I've never seen the details of what he said, but it was, you know, sort of Switzerland and stay united kind of event that he did. And one of my Swiss contributors thought, well, that was a really stupid move. How easy would it have been to try to ambush, kill, blow up, assassinate all these guys, and you immediately decapitate the Swiss command structure, and that it just would fall apart. So, I mean, from a patriotic standpoint, it's a great idea, but from a you know, a tactical or whatever sort of standpoint, it would be. So we have three choices here. We can let them be. We can try some sort of airstrike on them, but obviously, even if we paint our airplanes, because obviously the word gets out about this, and we don't have a lot of time to plan. We can paint our airplanes, you know, all just get rid of national markings or something to try to hide it, or immediately after striking, declare war, and we'll have two options could happen, meaning success or failure, and how well. Or we can send in a saboteur. Now this is something we can do. Getting two options that are, you can see the different choices there, that we can sort of try to keep our hands off of and not maybe start the war, but disrupt the Swiss one. Well, this is all based on what we could do and around this event, this historic event. Germany did not do anything. I have no plans in this game to invade Switzerland. I don't really think it gives you much manpower, it doesn't give you much industry, and it has revolt risk that you end up having to occupy. Though we have been supporting the Swiss National Socialists, so that would give, mainly right in and around here, German corps. There's other German-speaking areas here, and it would give us a few occupation troops, but I just don't see it as worthwhile. So we will just let them be for this game. But if you wanted to, this is the chance at this historic event to start your Swiss invasion. So if you wanted to invade Switzerland, no reason, you know, if you want to do it, and especially if you've been supporting the National Socialists there, you will get some benefits out of doing that. So there we go. Send the Ordnungspolei into our conquests in the west. Yes. Okay. Security structure in Belgium will be formed. Only 2 manpower. Yeah, that's cheap. And this is the army's sort of command structure for occupation Belgium. Yes, we will do that as well. Thank you, revolver held. That's nice, historic, and useful. We need to get our SS headquarters up and going pretty soon. That we're going to attach to use that command. There we go. And I'll off screen I'll figure out the leaders for that unit, but that gets us some basic militia here to help. Oh, and I was also asked about revolt risks. Okay, you can see our current revolt risk in occupied Poland here. Go back to the country flags. So this here is the region of the general government, as it was called. That region got expanded a bit once they went into there. This is reasonably accurate. So you got to base it on the provinces here, but territory of the former German Empire, made up of, there were a German minority in this region, and I think it was a fairly small minority. And the Poles there obviously had been used to German occupation, and we've also had the event that moved a lot of Germans from the Baltic states into here, so this helps the corps there. So that's why we have, I mean, that he started out back over here, of course, but more over here, but whatever. So so we have virtually no occupation there, and we have no revolt risk. Now, because we've got all these SD, or Totenkostandarte, I make Totenkostandarte have the higher ranking to show first, but all these units in here are really keeping our revolt risk down. We just have where it's sort of thinned out a little bit here and there. But so we're keeping that down there. And here. Because we've not yet conquered here, we don't yet have any structure, so that's high revolt risk there. And there, the police will end up helping taking effect somewhat there, so that will help. And obviously we're going into newly occupied territory. So that sort of covers our current revolt risks for you to see, to those that are interested. Because I know a lot of you are watching this to learn better, to play better, so I want to show you why we're doing some of the things. Oh, gotta keep moving forward. There we go. Guderian and Rom will get to cross the river there. Okay. Just moving forward. The Dutch are on there. Well, they're going down. Sure, we'll give them a little money for some crude. Okay. We'll get this and leave into the battle. Yes, we'll create the historical panzer cores. The HQs for them at least. Convoy raiders, yes, we want those. Amphibious armor. Yeah, we've got the supplies for it. The money and the metal, so we'll take those units there. Not super useful. Ah, yes. Even though we're not going to invade Switzerland, though, this will help our relations a bit. So we're going to in Davos here. There were a lot of, and this is supporting the Germans. With, as you know, because this is Germans living in Switzerland, and there were a lot of them. Some to just avoid the war, but there were also a lot of anti-Nazi Germans as well too. But so we will support their activities. Veteran unit. I don't. We're gonna keep their current units. We're not gonna spend the money right now on that. I'm spending a fair amount on that. I think it's worth it, but I just don't want to spend too much too fast. Okay, gotta keep everybody moving forward here. Send goes Deutschland there. across the river there. That should shift everything in our favor greatly here. As you see, by pushing down into here, we've kept a lot of their forces from rapidly coming here. These are mostly garrisons and HQs. Okay, we got some American blueprints for medium bomber prototype level 5. So, that is shot up, which freed up a researcher. Twin engine fighter prototypes, we'll increase that. And let's just see what model we would produce now if we started building those now. Medium bombers. Ah, yes. The HE-111, the H4, I like that model. Okay, how are we doing on production? Oh, we got a lot of stuff still to catch up on. All these upgrades. Okay, annexation of Luxembourg. Yes, we wanted that. That's excellent. Another Totenkopfstandard. So we're popping up a lot of these veteran units opportunities, and we're expanding our forces, but just not that fast. As you see, just got to keep on all of these. Yeah, let's keep them all moving forward. Well, they're bogging down just a little bit. Another unit with it. Engineers help cross the river a little quicker. Okay, now that we're across that river, let's get all the rest that haven't been in combat moving as well, so they'll be able to continue the attacking momentum. See, there's, in my opinion, two good ways, not exclusive ways, but two good ways to deal with the enemy units. One is encirclements. Those are, you know, it's clearly defined what you're doing. You're moving in, you're coming in, you're crushing and encircling the enemy. The other is just to overrun them. Just keep attacking so fast, so often that they can't, you know, when they in the retreat mode, when the province that they're retreating to becomes occupied. Then those units are lost. political mode. So you can see here how we've plunged into the French territory, moving straight for their heart. See a bunch of air activity. Let's take a quick look at our air forces to see how they're doing. Okay, the big thing I look for is, why is he not active? Let's quickly go to the air map. Okay, they're bombing here. They're also going to start bombing Luxembourg. So we're going to put him air superiority there. No, keep him flying over there. The reason they're going to stop, because they don't seem to bomb occupied territories. They seem to primarily bomb national territories for the AI. So they've hurt us a little bit here, but we've only got one. Anti-aircraft gun there. But what we do have is a few airplanes that are on air superiority there that should quickly initiate any engagements and start damaging them. Then hopefully our other interceptors will pile on in and overwhelm them. What does Portugal want? Yeah, sure. We'll give them fuel. Keep Papa Hoth moving. Keep him moving. Getting close to our assault on Paris. We'll deal with the Schnellboot in a little bit, but sorry about that. Okay. Alright, let's see. Gotta keep these guys going. Okay. Advanced semi-motorized vision. If I start getting units out of command length from their HQs, I'll just try to reassign them to closer HQs instead of letting that just continue to happen. Okay, von Manstein, send them over there. These guys have done very well for us here. Okay, they can clear attack there. Weiss will attack up there. here. So you see we've got all that all tied up. Air powers keeping them busy. Yeah, if you go down the micro route that I'm playing here, of you got to keep all the units moving, got to keep checking back, or they'll get stuck and you'll just sort of forget them. They should have already been attacking into Nancy there. Okay, we can improve the eight motorized railway infrastructures in the general government. This is one of the very good events from George, 1941, contributed. This, as you can see here, will increase, and we'll quickly switch over to it because we've had to pay for it, and we're going to pay for it even more here. But we started there. We're gaining back some manpower because we put in more manpower into the improving of the rail structure. But this should, you can see it's much more green than before. You can roll back if you wish to see that. But so that should help. Though of course we're going to move the supplies, but of course the stupid AI is going to try to move the supplies across the least upgraded areas. But nothing we can do about that. But that will give us a little bit of a help. Okay, this house is badly darkened. This was a notice that they would put on houses that were leaking light. Don't know how much light, how badly that would. They just leave a notice and not be banging on your door to turn out the lights. But so you get some historical context of what people lived under. I mean, we have a war on terrorism right now, and there are people dying in it. People are attacked in multiple cities and countries. But it ain't like World War II, that's for sure. People aren't daily bombing like from the air in large quantities. We talk about smaller bombs, but suicide, that kind of stuff. They're not doing that in most of the Western world, shall we say. Obviously, there's places in Iraq and Syria that are facing it, but yeah, a little bit of commentary there. Okay, these guys go in. Fighter ground controlled out. Basically, applying our radar to our fighters. No, they're getting crushed, is what they're getting. River. Gudarian, since he can't. Oh, he's already there. Some more money, so we will buy one more of these. See, I know part of their thinking is, what do we do with all this money that players can build up? But I just think they overdo the money spending. Supplies, that's a different matter, because those are things I can build on their domestic cost. Okay, I think it's about time to end this episode. I hope you've been enjoying it. We will continue to crush France.